Hey everyone, thanks for watching and tuning in. Let's see how many folks we got out there waiting. Probably just a few, but that's okay. Glad to have you with us. We're going to take a look at a pretty good snow event that's developing. I just looked at some of the models and saw it kind of developing a couple of days ago and said, I'll just check in on it. And if I see something, then I'll do some live coverage. And I saw something. So we're going to do some talking about some wet snow. And some areas in the Treasure Valley, the way things are unfolding, the way I see it looking right now, really could get, 3 to 5 inches easily in the Treasure Valley. And we'll let you know exactly where coming up of this wet kind of packed down snow. Obviously, the ground's very wet and it won't stick all at once. Some areas will get just a very little, depending on where the heavier snow band's set up. But I'll paint that picture for you here. And it's kind of on the satellite right there in front of us as we tell this story of snow that's coming our way. So let me dive on into this here and see who we have out there watching. Doesn't look like anybody's here. I'll be talking to myself. That's okay, because this thing will be recorded and then people will, well, I got 5 people watching. Well, I apologize. I didn't see that. You're there. You're somebody. It's probably my favorite friends who always watch. So let's dive in to see what I'm seeing here on the satellite picture. So with what I'm seeing is a pretty clear spin. There's a couple of areas and then a lot of clouds moving on in advance. And then looking at these clouds, I can see exactly where the models are honing in based on the reality that we're looking at right now in the clouds. It's that simple. It's like the big window in the sky. And then once the models all kind of get, come on together, and then we can pick and choose to see which one's a little bit more intact. So clearly we do see, and if you watched me before, I love to draw, so I'm going to do that. And so here we've got a storm system clearly spinning here down along the California coast, and that's really the controlling storm system. It's a big pattern. It's kind of doing one of these with a jet stream and then doing like this, if you will. And then you can see there's another little section of it right in through here, but that is really curling up in this direction. Now here's the gist of what I'm seeing anyways, of why I think there could be some substantial moisture overnight tonight and several inches of snow for some. Here, let's change to yellow. This right here, that center, you see it right there? That is moving in this direction. You can see that with the clouds. This is the controller. This is the one that's going to kind of guide this major plume of moisture. Now, it's all connected, but this is the controller. And this is going to dive down here to our south in this direction, just like that. So what that is going to do is keep this section right in here, all this that you see here, kind of doing the same thing over and over again as we go on in through. Oh, I see some comments there. Dennis, how you doing? Good to see you from Caldwell. Tanya. Hi there, Tanya. Hope things worked out for your daughter there. Good talking to you the other day in the old email in the chat. And, of course, Josh Kidd is there. Dilly Dilly. I don't know who Dilly Dilly is. And Joe Lab, hi from Meridian. Good to see you all. And Terry Flores looks like living out there in Lake Lowell. Will it snow around Lake Lowell? We'll let you know here in just a second. So this is kind of the story. This whole section, if you will, is going to stay over southern Idaho. And so what does that look like, and what does that mean for you? Well, if I go and take a look at the radar, now you can see why there's like a little bit of concern because of the moisture. It's always about the moisture here. The temperatures, yes, but if we get the good moisture pattern back in here in our high mountain desert zone, that's when we'll start to see the accumulations kind of occur. So that's what I'm going to take a look at is our moisture pattern. So here with the radar, clearly we can see the circulation down around San Francisco, and then we can see this plume of moisture coming up right through the Wasatch Range, through Salt Lake City, and then curling back, look at that, See that? And look at this line right here, right? See these lines coming off the mountains? Boy, that's a good sign. This is the pattern curling back from the southeast to the northwest, and will continue to do that. And then, if we watch very closely here, we actually can see a little bit of spin or circulation up here in the Treasure Valley. So this right here, I hope this will let me do it. It will. Great. I'm going to switch to the Doppler radar now. Out of Boise. Gives me a little bit more of a better resolution, and a better resolution. And you can see the yellows in there. That yellow in there is the radar going up from just south out in the desert. This little circle's where the radar is. And then the beam goes up at like a ½ degree, right? I think it's like 5 degrees, and not a half, 5 degrees. And then it goes up on an angle into the clouds. And so as it gets out here, it's higher into the atmosphere, way up. And that yellow is heavier moisture, but more likely in this situation, that yellow is snow. And with this particular Doppler radar now, we can see what the precipitation type is. And the scale is down at the bottom in the greens and the blues. And we can see the rain coming down for many areas. But then, yep, look at that. Up there in the higher elevations, that darker blue is WS, wet snow. And then down here closer where it is still raining in many locations, you can see that rain right there. And then even some snow being picked up now closer to the ground. So a lot of this is melting because it's still a little cooler down below. But it won't take long now that the sun has gone down. And if we get another hour or two of cooling, and as the system kind of pinwheels a little bit more to the south, temperatures will cool enough where that rain is going to change to snow, and it is going to continue. So let's go back here. And so here's where we see a lot of the heavy bands of precipitation coming on through. Now, if we move this here, you can see that to the northwest of Boise, the last few frames, they kind of drop. See that? They just take a little bit of a left turn right in through there. And with that, down to the south and the east, you can see it kind of comes up and then takes more of a left turn as well. So it's kind of pinwheeling right in through here. So this pattern is not going to go away. It's coming in at a great angle and will continue to do its thing as we go through the overnight hours. So the observations right now, raining out, dew point temperature is what's in that blue, 37, 36. So we're real close to saturation, but we are going to see the dew point temperature come down probably around 29, 28, and then the air temperature, once that gets to around 29, 28, and then the air temperature drops down to around 33, 32, we are going to get some snow, I think, down in the Treasure Valley. Chris Phillips has the whole family watching. Hi, family. Oh, yeah. Nothing like, a Christmassy scene around the Christmas season. That's awesome. Yeah, I'd love to have you all watching this evening. If you haven't subscribed to the weather show, you can just subscribe and then hit the bell. The bell is, I do these now and then the bell will give you an alert when it pops up if you don't want to miss it, especially now when the weather's getting active. So that is what we have right now. So back to the question about Lake Lowell in the Lowell area. So a couple of situations happening here with the models. This model that I show a lot is usually more aggressive. It usually, in situations like this, goes a little bit hog wild and goes a little bit more than we typically, would get, especially in some of these weather patterns. So this model is one of my favorites, though. It's kind of a convective model, so usually goes a little bit up and above. And so if you take the rule of thumb, which we do in meteorology for convective situations, where it is, you can divide it by 2, you can get closer to the accumulation. And I say that because some folks in East Boise and down by Mountain Home look to get a little bit of a bullseye if this particular model verifies it. And I'm not saying it's going to verify, but I'm saying this is why I have concern about where I think some of the heavier snows are going to fall. So in this particular situation, There's Boise right in there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cover my mug and make this bigger so you can see it. The snow scale is right down to the bottom, where the green is going from 3 to 4 inches, and then the lighter green, that's 6 inches of snow. And then when you get in the oranges, you're looking at 8 to 10 inches of snow. Okay, keep that in mind. The lighter colors of blue is maybe a little bit of a trace, and then you get into this shade of blue here, that's about an inch, and then on up the scale you go. So let me go and do this, because now you can see clearly that dot is Boise. There's Boise right there. Matter of fact, I'm going to hope it's not too blurry. Now you get a little bit better picture. And I'll stop it here in a second. But you can see Boise right there, and then that little bit right there by Bennett Mountain in Elmore County. But that's East Boise in the green, right? The lighter shade of green. Now that's 4 inches. And then it goes into the up even higher than that to 6 inches just east of Boise. And then there's just outside of Boise, south and east in Ada County. This model gets you into that, 8 to 10 inch range. Now, I think that may be a little bit overdone. The model likes to do that a lot. Higher elevations, I think there's a good chance for that. And it's localized. You can see it's just in like one specific little area there. But let me stop it here. Will it let me stop it? Oh, I guess the pause buttons won't work. Oh, you know why? Because I don't have it on the right one. Now it works. So let me stop it here, and I'll kind of talk as I go along. So this is saying that it's snowing in East Boise. So if anybody out in the east areas of Boise, it's saying here, let's see, that's 6, that's 9 o'clock. So in a couple hours says the snow. So we're looking in a short amount of time of seeing this changeover, and probably to around midnight or before midnight. And then as we go into the overnight hours, going in towards 2, 3 in the morning, you can see there's a big bullseye up in the mountainous regions of Elmore County up towards the Fairfield. So, if you're going up 20 tonight, that's just not a good plan. I would not do that going up there because we won't see great visibility or road conditions there for sure. And then as we go throughout the morning hours tomorrow, this is 6 a.m. Now the Boise area, that's in the green. And so that green is 4 inches of snow. So, 3 to 5 inches of snow, I think, in that area in eastern Ada County and then southeast of Boise. That's along 84 where it gets in that darker orange, and that's 8 to 10 inches of snow. So, this is something to look out for if you're going to be traveling in the early morning hours tomorrow, if you have folks coming on in from other areas. And again, this model always kind of overdoes things. But I will say the European model, which I love, is doing kind of the same thing. And it's also doing it back towards the west. So the other things we have to factor in, we talk about snow and stuff like that, is the ground is wet. Temperatures are on the higher side right now. But with the burst and the heavier snows that are going to come down south and east of Boise, that's where we'll start to see, the snow starting to accumulate quick. So to answer some of the questions that I'm seeing there on the map, let's see. I'm going to take this map off here. And then we'll do some other maps here. So, near Lake Lowell, to answer your question, that the pattern is set up where, west of Boise, back towards Meridian, maybe Eagle, probably in closer to 2 to 3 inch range. And then as you go west of there, maybe an inch to maybe 3 inches from, say, Lake Lowell on east of there. And then the mountainous regions look to get a little bit more. So I hope that answers your question there, Terry. And then I see Tanya. Oh, Tanya's making candy for everybody. Thank you, Tanya. We appreciate you. Please Find Tanya. She'll ship it to you for free, right, Tanya? Making Camry candy. I love it. I love candy. Oh, my buddy Dan. Dan, a Phillies fan. He's from Philadelphia. Oh, I got a video to send to you, Dan. I went to a church this morning, and the pastor is a Cowboys fan. All he did was rag on the Phillies. It was pretty funny, and I thought of you. And I'm sure you would rag on him back. You're welcome, Terry. Lisa Smith, what do you think for the foothills just east of Emmett? So just east of Emmett, you're going to be, as far as to the moisture plume is going to be in there. And then the foothills just east of Emmett, you're probably looking into that, I'm going to say 3 to 6 inch range in that area. So it just depends on where that moisture plume sets up. But looking now, at this radar, I mean, it's pretty clear that moisture plume is covering almost all of the northern side of the Treasure Valley. As we go in for a closer look, Emmett, there's Emmett right up in here, and you have some pretty good moisture. So, Freeze Out Hill and going up through these areas, not going to be fun. So there will be some pretty good snowfall up in here in the mountains and the foothills around Emmett. So watch out there as well. But this right here, this is why this moisture here, very concentrated. What's going to happen is, because of that curl, this is going to move on up, and then it's going to drop back down. So it's going to kind of make a move on up as that other system to the south around San Francisco curls on down, and then it's going to drag on down from the north to the south. And so that's what we're going to be looking at with this system. So the right here, satellite. So it's just a classic system. So this right here is an upper level low, and then this whole system, it's giant. I mean, it goes down to Southern California, stretches on up into here, and then you can see how it kind of just stops right in through here. So as this comes in here, this is going to kind of reach its point. It's going to get to a maximum point. It's going to go to the north. And then as this comes in, this is going to start drawing back down. Now, that process is going to go on tonight through tomorrow morning, and possibly not start getting out of, the Treasure Valley in one shape or form or the other until tomorrow afternoon. So this is going to be an extended period, I think, of precipitation. And like I said, as we go into the overnight hours, it's going to be a changeover to some snow. And then, it could be, pretty good snow south and east of Boise, wet snow. I think the roadways, they'll be okay. But in the bands itself, once you get east of Boise, down past, the Highway 21 interstate interaction there, and that off-ramp area, I think down towards Mountain Home, it's going to get real dicey tomorrow morning. So watch out for some slick spots there. And then less snow as you go further to the west. And again, with the lighter amounts of snow in those areas, because obviously it's been raining all day, we're going to see not a lot of accumulation, mainly in grassy areas, and hopefully the roadways will be just fine. But this is a real interesting situation. Saw a good post from folks up at Bogus today. Good friend Rob and his son, Barrett. Snow is great up through there, and it looks great. I was even toying with the idea of maybe going up tomorrow and carving some turns for the first time, because the mountains have been getting great snow, and that's what we talked about, in our earlier broadcasts. And then if you haven't yet, you can check out my long-range forecast for snow for the whole country, the United States. We got like 15 people watching here. That's cool. Hey, Doug McGarva. Happy holidays to you, my friend. Merry Christmas. Hope things are going well with you. Joe Lab says, this is our third winter in Idaho, and it seems like it's been the most active this early in the season for snowfall. We're enjoying it. Yeah, it has been. Last year was a La Nina year, very active. This year, the La Nina year, very active. The Sierra Nevada mountains getting really hammered. Northern California mountains. Most of the mountains are doing just a great job for snowpack for this time of the year. Venturing to say that we are above normal as we keep this pattern going, and we'll need to keep it going on in towards spring. We are forecast to get it to go back to what we call a neutral pattern, and then that will continue to change. 16 people watching. That's pretty cool. Glad you're all tuning in. Glad you're having fun. Hope you had a great day today. I had a really good day today. I even went and got pizza. Treated myself to pizza. Everybody got their Christmas shopping done? Maybe not. I haven't even started. I really don't have much more to share with you tonight. I wish I could show you this map. And, the Weather Service, they have a model that they use. It's a blend model. It's one of the worst things I think we've done in operational meteorology in a long time. We used to have all individual models, and you could see the differences in them. And guys like me who've been around a long time could really see the differences in them. But, the new folks want their computers, and so they blended it all together. Now you can't see which is which and what's different. But anyways, the blend model that they use, I can't show it on here for some reason, but these are the temperatures across the region. Lisa Smith, you are welcome. And but I can talk you through it because I do have it up here. So what they have down by 11 o'clock tonight, very little accumulation here, but up in the foothills, 2.5 inches of snow, just about maybe a half inch of snow coming down in East Boise. And then as we go to 5 a.m., all areas in the Treasure Valley, with the exception of a few areas around Canyon County, seeing accumulations. The highest that the model's showing is up in the mountains by Bogus, maybe a couple of inches by 5 a.m. And then areas down around the Treasure Valley, about a half inch of snow and about a half inch of snow or so, even going down towards those areas where that model, put 4 to 6 inches of snow down. But then as we go into 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, all areas are getting into the snow with substantial snows. And this is according to the National Weather Service model, which you can't see, but I'm kind of clicking around spots. About 3 inches up there around the Owyhee Mountains, all areas around the Treasure Valley, another half inches of snow. So even according to their model, it's, looking to be a half inch to maybe an inch and a half of snow by 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I think this model is just missing the piece of that moisture that is going to be consistent over the Danskin Mountains in that area, just southeast of Boise, going down towards Mount Home. I think in this stretch right in through there. I can zoom here. So I think this area in here by the Simplot Complex, Barber Park, up here by Highway 21 and Lucky Peak, as we go down towards, I believe this is the Eisenman interchange, where it's 34 and 32, where that tells me there could be snow coming down there right now. I'll have to check a camera on that here in just a second. And then Mount Home, I think down through these areas, eastern Ada County, down towards there, that's where we'll stand to see substantial amounts of snow. And then back through here, we'll get snow. I'd like a 1 to 3 inch amount from Eagle Road on east, maybe up closer to 2 to 3 inches around Eagle, Garden City, back towards the Flying Y, right in through the heart of Meridian and Cuna, and then more of an inch to maybe 2 inches going from Lake Lowell, Nampa, and then back towards here in Ontario and up by the Weiser area. So I know I have some good friends in Weiser, and hopefully they're watching here today as well. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for now. But let me go and see if I can track down that camera for you at the Eisenman interchange. Can't tell. Big blur fest of lights in the rain. So it looks still like rain probably mixing with some snow as you get down towards Blacks Creek is what I'm thinking of right now. So that's kind of where I see things going. Everybody kind of checking out now. I get you. I still love you. Oh boy. Lisa Smith is down to 36. Yep, I think all areas are kind of hovering. It's the dew point temperatures that we see there, where the dew point temperature is in the 30s. I believe we get to get that down, into like the 32 to 29 degree range. And then once we do that, then we'll start to see some of the rain change over to snow as the atmosphere continues to cool over the next hour or two. So, yeah, it should be pretty cool. Should be a nice little changeover. And again, we'll wake up with snow in the Treasure Valley, which will be pretty awesome. And looking at a model for once this does spin on through, that's interesting. So what I'm looking at is the swirl down to the south. And then it kind of makes a little kick to the north. So that swirl down to the south by San Francisco, by tomorrow afternoon, they have that tracking just almost to our south towards Salt Lake City. So that puts us on a pretty good track, if you will, a trek to keep the precipitation intact. And also to keep some of the cooler temperatures locked in, which looks like that's going to happen too. So the same old inversion pattern. And this model actually brings in maybe, oh, wow. So one of the models I'm looking at here now brings in Christmas Eve, maybe, and Christmas Day snow. What? Yeah, look at that. So that's one model there for the chance of snow on Christmas Day, but that's long range out there. Let's see what this one does here. Usually a little bit more accurate. There's a system kind of brewing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting around Christmas Day itself. Certainly a couple more systems warming up to come on through the old conveyor belt back to the west. So that would be back here. So if I make this a little wider in the globe. So we're talking about like all the stuff that's back here. There's the pattern. So we'll see this system come through, and then there's another one kind of winding up here back out by the Gulf of Alaska, and then there's several more back upstream from that. So tremendous pattern so far here in the Northwest, especially for November and December. It's been very, very good. Very awesome. Love it. Love snow. Let's take a look for other areas around the country. I know we got some folks that kind of are from the east as well. Not a whole lot going in the midsection of the country with this. Back in the southeast, looks like it's just cold back through there. But stuff that comes in the west has to come back towards the east. That's kind of how this whole weather pattern works. All right, people dropping off down to 10. But I thank you so much, all of you who are watching. Appreciate it. Just warms my heart when you interact. That's great. All right, so I'm going to cut it short here. And hopefully you have yourself a safe morning tomorrow. I will let you know if I get up there and go to Bogus Basin. And I appreciate you all for watching. Again, tell your friends and family to subscribe. This video will be shareable. It'll probably process in about, 5-10 minutes, and then it'll be shareable. And I'd love to have you support and share it with all your friends and family. Get that Christmas shopping done. And thanks for making all that candy for us up there, Tanya. We appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching the Weather Show with Vin Crosby.